The gentle hum of the refrigerator was the loudest sound in the apartment, a comforting backdrop to the quiet contentment I felt as I watched Liam across the kitchen island. He was stirring his morning coffee, the scent of fresh brew mingling with the subtle, masculine fragrance of his aftershave. Soon he'd be my husband. The thought, still new enough to send a thrilling jolt through me, made me smile. We were barely a month into our engagement, and the sapphire on my finger felt like a beacon, promising a future bathed in Liam's steady, unwavering love. Our relationship had always been easy, built on shared laughter, deep conversations, and a mutual understanding that felt almost preordained. Liam was kind, thoughtful, and fiercely loyal, qualities I cherished. He'd occasionally mentioned his complicated past with an ex-girlfriend, Chloe, a whirlwind of drama he was thankful to have escaped. I'd brushed it off, happy that the drama was his past, not our present. How naive I was. I wish I had known then that Chloe wasn't just a shadow from his past. She was a storm brewing on our horizon, ready to drown everything we had built. It started subtly, like a chill wind slipping under a closed door. A few weeks after our engagement announcement, a mutual friend, Sarah, mentioned, "Oh, Chloe was asking about you two, said congratulations. You know, she and Liam were practically inseparable back in the day. Such a shame how it ended." The words themselves were innocent, but Sarah's tone held a hint of something else. Pity? Warning? I dismissed it. People talk. Exes exist. Then came the accidental run-ins. First, at our favorite coffee shop. Chloe, perfectly coiffed, her eyes lingering a fraction too long on Liam, before flicking to my ring finger with a brief, almost imperceptible smirk. She'd offer a syrupy, "Liam!" and, "Clara, isn't it? So lovely to see you two. Still so together." Her voice dripped with an insinuation that together was a temporary state. Liam, ever the gentleman, was polite but distant. "Clara, don't worry," he'd reassure me later, squeezing my hand. "Chloe just loves attention. She's harmless." Harmless. That word would echo in my mind, a cruel joke. Next, a cryptic message arrived in my social media DMs, ostensibly from a wedding vendor, but the language was oddly specific, mentioning a flower Liam had picked for Chloe once, years ago. I felt a cold knot in my stomach. When I showed Liam, he frowned. "That's weird. Probably a spam bot, love. Don't worry about it." But it wasn't spam. It was a tiny, perfectly placed pinprick, designed to plant doubt. Chloe's online presence, once a distant memory, now seemed to orbit us. She'd like old photos of Liam on his public profiles, photos taken long before I entered his life, sometimes even pictures where she was subtly in the background. She never commented, never explicitly tagged, but the digital breadcrumbs were there, a trail leading back to a past she wasn't ready to let go of. Each notification, each like, felt like a cold whisper. "I'm still here. I know his history better than you ever will." I started to feel Chloe's presence even when she wasn't there, a creeping unease that settled over our once peaceful bubble. Liam, bless his heart, continued to dismiss it. "She's just trying to get a rise out of us," he'd say with a dismissive wave. "Ignore her." But how do you ignore a ghost that keeps trying to push you out of your own life? Chloe, it turned out, wasn't content with whispers and digital shadows. Her campaign escalated, morphing from subtle discomfort into active sabotage, always with a veneer of innocence. One morning, a package arrived. Inside, Nestled on a bed of tissue paper was a framed photograph. Liam and Chloe, years younger, laughing on a beach, silhouetted against a sunset. No note, no sender's address, just the image. My hands trembled as I showed it to Liam. He snatched it, his face clouding. "This is ridiculous. She's obviously trying to provoke you." He threw it in the trash. But the image was burned into my mind. It wasn't just a photo, it was a territorial marking. Then came the whispers. Liam started receiving concerned calls from colleagues, casually asking if everything was okay between us. "Heard Clara's been a little intense lately," one said to him. "Just checking in." Liam would brush them off, but the seed of doubt was sown. Chloe had perfected the art of the veiled accusation. She'd spread rumors through their shared social circles, painting me as manipulative, controlling, jealous, everything she herself was. My colleagues, too, started giving me strange looks. One day, a project I'd been working on with Liam, crucial files for his upcoming presentation, mysteriously disappeared from the shared drive. Liam's presentation was delayed, and he was furious. He knew I was the only other person with access, but couldn't prove I'd done it. The unspoken accusation hung heavy in the air between us. "Clara," he said, his voice strained after a particularly difficult day at work, "are you sure you didn't accidentally move those files? Or maybe you were stressed?" My heart clenched. He was doubting me. My fiancé, the man who was supposed to be my rock, was starting to believe Chloe's narrative. "Liam," I pleaded, "I didn't touch them. I swear." And all these other things. "Don't you see what she's doing? She's trying to turn you against me." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I know she's got issues, Clara, but this is a huge leap. She's not a supervillain. Maybe you're just a little sensitive right now, with the wedding planning stress." His dismissal was like a physical blow. The rift between us, once a hairline fracture, began to widen. I felt isolated, doubted by Liam, by our friends, by everyone who was subtly influenced by Chloe's toxic narrative. Every time I tried to point out Chloe's machinations, Liam saw it as my paranoia, my jealousy. The once easy laughter turned into strained silences. I knew with a chilling certainty that if I continued to fight her head-on, I would lose. I would lose Liam, and I would lose myself in the process. Lying awake one night, listening to Liam's even breathing beside me, a cold resolve settled over me. Chloe thrived on manipulation and gaslighting. She was a master illusionist, making others doubt their own sanity. But I wasn't just some random victim. I was a graphic designer, a meticulous planner, a creator of order from chaos. And I would use those skills to expose her. The first step was to stop reacting. Every time Chloe poked, prodded, or subtly sabotaged, I would meet it with silence. No more frantic calls to Liam, no more emotional pleas. Instead, I started documenting. Everything. My laptop became my war room. I created a dedicated folder, password protected and hidden deep within my files. Screenshots filled it. Chloe's suspicious social media activity, the odd DMs, the timing of her accidental appearances relative to our public posts. I logged dates, times, and detailed descriptions of every incident of alleged sabotage, no matter how small. The lost files, the subtly changed wedding venue reservations, the canceled dinner plans that only I seemed to be blamed for. For each entry, I noted Liam's initial reaction and the slow, insidious way his doubt had begun to fester. I knew I couldn't do this alone. I needed an objective eye, someone outside our immediate circle. I called Sarah, Not the mutual friend, but my oldest friend from college, who lived in a different city. Sarah, a tech whiz with a healthy dose of cynicism, listened patiently as I laid out my carefully constructed case. She didn't dismiss me. Instead, she offered practical advice. You need irrefutable proof, Clara. Something she can't talk her way out of. Something Liam can't ignore. She also helped me set up a few passive monitoring tools. Nothing illegal, just ways to track public information streams and filter out anything related to Chloe or Liam's mutual contacts. The realization hit me. Chloe wasn't just trying to break us up. She was trying to break me, to make me seem unstable, irrational, so that even if Liam left me, he'd pity me, not hate me. She wanted to be the hero, the sane one, swooping in to pick up the pieces of his shattered life. It was a sick, twisted game, and she played for keeps. But I was done being a pawn. I was ready to become the chess master. The only way to beat a manipulator was to let them manipulate themselves into a corner, and I was about to build that corner. Sarah's words kept replaying in my mind. Something she can't talk her way out of. Something Liam can't ignore. I needed Chloe to expose herself, publicly, unequivocally. The opportunity came with the pre-wedding party Liam's aunt was throwing for us. It was a semi-formal affair, mostly close family, and a few key colleagues. Liam had, reluctantly, extended an invitation to Chloe, due to their shared history and social circles. Just to avoid drama, he'd said, hoping she wouldn't show, but I knew she would. I crafted the bait meticulously. A few days before the party, I casually mentioned to a mutual friend, Mark, different Mark, a harmless one, that Liam had something very important to announce at the party. Something that would change everything. I made sure to be vague, leaving just enough room for Chloe's imagination to fill in the blanks. I also, accidentally, left my laptop open on a fictional email draft from a prestigious overseas company offering Liam a coveted, high-paying position that would require him to relocate immediately after the wedding. The catch? The company only hired individuals with zero personal baggage or public controversy. It was a subtle detail, but one I knew Chloe would latch onto. Chloe took the bait like a starved fish. At the party, she was a coiled spring. She hovered, watched, her eyes darting between Liam and me, waiting for the big announcement. As the evening wore on and no announcement came, her composure began to fray. Finally, during Liam's casual toast thanking his aunt, Chloe made her move. She marched over to the main table, a forced smile on her face, and loudly declared, "Liam, darling! Don't forget to tell everyone your real news about the new job and how you simply can't be involved in any, shall we say, unpleasantness? Like, for instance, a bride who keeps deleting important work files and spreading rumors about you." She beamed, expecting to see Liam's face fall, my face crumple. Instead, a silence descended, thick and heavy. Liam froze, his glass halfway to his lips. His aunt, who adored me, stared at Chloe, appalled. The prestigious overseas company and the no baggage clause were entirely fictional. Chloe, in her desperate attempt to undermine me and reveal Liam's supposed secret, which didn't exist, had just publicly admitted to knowing about the lost files and even hinted at my rumors, things she should have had no knowledge of unless she was the one behind them. Chloe's eyes darted around the room, realizing too late the trap she had walked into. Her forced smile faltered, replaced by a look of sheer panic. Liam's face was a mask of realization. His eyes, fixed on Chloe, were no longer clouded with doubt, but with a chilling clarity. "Chloe," he said, his voice low, steady, and dangerously calm. "What exactly are you talking about? There's no new job. And how would you know about the lost files or any rumors if you weren't involved?" Chloe stammered, tried to backtrack, but the words were already out. She had painted herself into a corner, her facade of innocence shattered. The whispers around the room were no longer about me, but about her. Her friends started to slowly back away, their faces etched with shock and disgust. Liam, seeing her squirm, seeing the truth laid bare, didn't need any more convincing. He didn't yell. He just looked at her with a profound disappointment that was far more devastating than anger. "I think you need to leave, Chloe," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. "And don't contact either of us again." Chloe, defeated, slunk out of the party, her grand plan backfiring spectacularly. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of apologies from Liam, conversations with friends who now understood, and a profound sense of relief. Liam and I spent hours talking, rebuilding the trust that had been eroded by Chloe's poison. He apologized repeatedly for doubting me, for not seeing the truth sooner. It was a painful but necessary process, and we emerged stronger. Our bond forged in the fires of manipulation and deceit. Chloe's reputation in our social circle evaporated. Her name became synonymous with toxicity, her carefully constructed image crumbling around her. As for me, the incident left its scars, but also invaluable lessons. I learned that intuition is a powerful guide, and thus sometimes, the only way to win a silent war is to let your enemy defeat themselves. The sapphire on my finger now felt truly mine, a symbol not just of love, but of resilience. Chloe tried to break us, but all she did was show us how strong we truly were.